Hey guys! Welcome back to another interesting video session. Today we will build a simple number guessing game using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. This is the first version of the game. It only covers working and general concepts. Comment if you want the advanced UI and functionalities. Let's start with a basic HTML template. Add a style tag in its head and continue changing the layout. Set a standard font family to the body. Give it 100 VH height and set linear gradient background from bottom left to top right. I'll use red and orange as base colors. Next, add a div element in the body with class name container. The container will have 400 pixel max width. Give it a 50 pixel horizontal margin and set its vertical margin to auto. Also center align the text for this container. Next, add an H1 tag inside the container. Write the heading Number Guessing Game inside it. After this, create a paragraph tag and write Select Difficulty inside. These are simple label or identifiers. Now add a select tag for the drop-down options. Give it an ID difficulty and write 3 options for the selector. The first option will have value easy and text easy and hint for 1 to 50. Similarly, we will create option for medium and hard difficulty. They will have max range of 100 and 200 respectively. Now style the H1 tag with 2 rem font value and gray color. The paragraph will have 1.5 rem font size. Style the select tags with 12 pixel padding. Give it a fixed 16 pixel font size and remove any border. In the end, set the border radius to 15 pixel. The drop-down selector is looking good. It is fine for now. Later in second part of this video, we will add more style and decoration to this element. Continue by adding another paragraph below the select tag. Write a text, guess a number inside this P tag. Follow the code with an input tag. Set its type to number and give it an ID called guessInput. Now add a button below the input tag. Give this button an ID submit btn and write text submit guess for the display. Set similar style for input type number as that of select. I'll use comma separator for common styling. After this, add style for the button. The button will have 10 pixel horizontal padding as well as 20 pixel vertical padding. Give it a 16 pixel font size and set pointer cursor value. After this, give the button a reddish background with white text color. Remove any border with the none value and set border radius of 15 pixels for curved edges. After this, I will add style for the hover effect. I want the background to change color smoothly. Therefore, set a transition property in the button for background color, delaying 0.3 seconds with ease in and out. Also set similar transition for the box shadow effect. Now add background color in the hover selector. I'll give it a light orangish color. Follow along with a simple gray box shadow that spans for 5 pixel in bottom portion. It will have 8 pixel blur radius value. Now add another paragraph below the button with ID message. This paragraph will show the response during the game. Continue by adding one more paragraph with ID hint under the message paragraph. This paragraph will show the hint to guess the number easily. Now style the message with 20 pixel top margin and bold font weight. This is not final. We will update all of these in the second part. The hint paragraph will have 10 pixel top margin. Set its font size to 1.3 rem and make the text a little bold with 500 font weight. That's it, the HTML and CSS part is complete. After this, we have to add the actual functionality to make all of these work. We will use simple JavaScript for the functionalities. Maybe I'll change it to jQuery in future video. Start by adding script tags below body. First of all, add an event listener in the document to check if the DOM content is fully loaded. In jQuery, we use ready method for this purpose. Inside the callback function, assign two variables for minimum range and maximum range respectively. Next, write a function called setDifficultyRange. It will take one parameter as difficulty. We will write a switch statement to check the difficulty level and assign the minimum and maximum range accordingly. Here we will set one in the minimum range for each difficulty level, whereas the max range will vary from 50 to 100 and 200 from easy to hard difficulty. The default case will have 50 as max range. Now it's time to store all the HTML reference in their respective variables. I'll use constants as we don't need to change the reference anywhere during the game. The only dynamic parts are the values from these references. So follow me. I'm using the query selector method for referencing the IDs of individual HTML elements. You can also use the getElementById method here. Once you are done with these 5 constants, create a variable called random number and attempts. Initialize the attempts variable with the value 0. Now add a change event listener to the difficulty select reference. It relates the value from select options. Inside the callback function, call the select difficulty range function and provide the value of select difficulty as its parameter. After this, call the reset game function. We will soon write the code for reset game function. In the reset game function, start by assigning the attempts variable to 0. Then store a random number by calculating the difference between the max and min range values. I'll use the built-in mathFloor function to drop any decimal values from the random number. Follow the logic carefully, as a single mistake can return invalid values. Next, empty out the text contents of both message and hint paragraphs. It only requires empty quotation to make the values empty. Set the disable property for button to false and empty the value of guess input field using a pair of blank quotes. Now add a click event listener for the submit button. Start by assigning the value of guess input to a constant called guess. Use parseInt method to convert string input into integers. It will return n if input is not a number. Then write an if check to see if the guess value is not a number, or if it is less than minimum range or greater than maximum range. If any of these conditions match, then set the message text to error response. Ask the user to input number between the range value, and simply return the null value to break the conditional check. Now increment the attempts variable outside the condition. Follow it with another if check where we will make sure if guess is equal to the random number. If it matched, then set the message text to the appropriate response. Write something interesting like congratulations, you have successfully guessed the number in this many attempts. Use your creativity here. After this, set the disable property for the button to true. In the else case, assign the absolute difference of random number and guess to a constant called difference. Also create a variable called hint message with empty string values. Now we have to write a couple of if checks to compare the difference. Start with a check to 30 or greater. Set text. You are very far from the number and hint message. Similarly, check for the difference with 20, 10, 5, and less, and set the hint message accordingly. In the end, set this hint message to the message paragraph. You may add a text like try again before this hint message. After this, add another if check and compare if guess is less than random number. If it's less, then set the text in hint paragraph to try guessing higher. If the guess is greater than the random number, then in the else case, set the hint text to try guessing lower. It is up to you whether you want to keep this hint or not. I think it's really helpful to keep the user engaged. Otherwise, the user may get bored and leave the game. In the end, call the set difficulty range method with the selected difficulty as parameter. Also call the reset game function so that the game starts with 0 value in attempts and all. The game is still not working properly. Do you know why? Well done. If you noticed the error, don't worry if you didn't catch it. Soon we will solve it together. The error is in the first line of our JavaScript code. The DOM content loaded event listener is misspelled. Let's fix it now and see how the game works. Notice the various response. It really helps the user to understand whether they need to guess higher or lower than the current input value. Try replicating the functionality and come up with your own UI for this simple game. Write down and comment if you want me to create a follow-up video. Do you like this video? There are plenty more in the channel. Go have a look. Meanwhile, please hit that notification bell, like this video, and subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching Technospace.